What's good, YouTube? We are just getting started. Amazon FBA Q&A. We are back. We've got the Tiki Talk live right here. We're talking about profits with business. So the whole thing with cost of goods is no, cost of goods and shipping is not considered profit. But like, let's break it down. You make $30,000 in a month, okay? Let's say 30% Amazon FBA fees, so 10K. And then let's say 10% tacos, so 3K, so 13K, that's gone. Like you don't get that back. But let's say that you're running at a 30% profit margin, which means out of that 30K, 10 of it is profit. Now, your cost of goods and your shipping, let's say it was 20% of the value or of your total, right? So let me just, what would that be? 6K, okay? So your profit is 10. You spend 20% on your cost of goods and shipping. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually hilarious. I'm gonna mute that just because, but that's honestly really funny. I can think of a million things to spend my time better with, but I will admit that gave me a laugh. Anyways, yeah, that was funny. Anyways, 10% profit margin, 10K on 30K in sales, 13K if you have a 10% tacos or advertising cost, and then 30% Amazon FBA fees. That's gone to Amazon. Oop, gone. 10K is what I make on that 30, but then that 20%, assuming that's your cost of goods and shipping, that 6K, that also comes back to me. I do not consider it profit, but that also comes back to me and can be put towards other orders. So that would be the breakdown of your profit and how that works. Noah, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. What's better, FBA or merch on Amazon? FBA all day. And like I said, 40% after everything. Do you negotiate with the manufacturer every time? Every time. Even when we're placing reorders, I'll negotiate with the manufacturer to try to get, as I'm ordering more units, I'll still go back to negotiate to try to bring my unit costs down. That's part of the game as well. So like, let's say that I got a product for $5 a unit and I ordered 200. On my next order, if I'm ordering 500, I'm going to go to the manufacturer and say, hey, I want it for $4.50 or I want it for $4 so that I can continue to increase my margins as time goes on. Hey, look, did you delete the account, my first one? I did not, Alex, but I saw that the message that you sent to Adam, and I tried to look up both your old name and that name that you sent Adam, and it's no longer in the group, so. Basha, what up, Net? Good to see you, bro. How do you get the images on your stream? How do you grow your socials, upload times, or numbers? Well, I'm not one of these TikTok growth people, so take my advice with a grain of salt. That's not like what I'm focused on. I just put out good content. But this is a green screen. It's a feature that TikTok has, and then every month I just update Amazon sales, and we'll place that there for people. And well, let me finish this, and then I'll get to the YT comment. In terms of like upload times and this or that, I don't pay attention to that stuff. What I do is just be consistent and provide value, right? Okay, so I found a manufacturer for this product I'm launching, and I happen to actually message the manufacturer that dominates the market right now, and they can provide me custom products with an NDA. Do you think I should move forward with this? They're making good money right now. If the market looks good, I wouldn't hold them to the NDA, but because they really have no obligation to follow it. But if the numbers look good, then yeah. How do I become a student? You can check out the Tiki-Taki bio. Apply for the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship, the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education. Nothing comes close, baby. Should I scrap it and not risk it in case? I'm going to message you back, Patel. It really depends. Like, I would still try, even though Amazon said that you can't, that they denied the claim, I still would continue to make cases and try to provide evidence, because you might just be getting like a surface level seller support representative. And if you can have like an internal team or a specialist team come in and analyze it, maybe you get a different result. I can't tell you how many times I've had Amazon tell me no, or you can't do this, or whatever. And then you just get the right person and then it works out. How decide it's a good product after product cost plus ship cost after Amazon FBA fees? You decide if it's a good product based on the market numbers, things like average reviews, average revenue, total revenue, how low reviewed products in the market are performing, the average cost per click. For questions about the AMZ Masterclass, like I said, I would hop on a call with my team, y'all. Maybe at the end of the live, I'll show you guys how to do that. Some of their listings are doing like 1M a month. I wouldn't base it on what one seller is doing net. A lot of new sellers get kind of caught up in this, which I understand why they do. But a lot of the new sellers get caught up in like, this one seller does this much, so then I have to do good. That's not how it works. It's based on your differentiator, your product market, like the market as a whole, not what one seller is doing. Is 80% ACOS normal first time seller? It's 3 weeks running PPC. I wouldn't say that it's normal, but I wouldn't say that it's not normal. You're going to have a higher ACOS in the beginning. Conversion. Your conversion rate is going to matter the most. Bid management, conversion rate, because if you have a really low conversion, your ACOS and your tacos are going to be higher. Are you Pakistani, by the way? No, sir. I'm Egyptian. What's your tips for differentiating a product? Optimizing or changing the design, adding bonus items, increasing the quantity count. Like if it's like a 5-pack, 10-pack, 15-pack. Dad, look at your text after the live. I got you, brother. I will. I mean, I can look at it right now. That's my son in the live, by the way. Just kidding. It's not actually my son, but he is my son. Can I send my items to Amazon warehouse in multiple boxes, or do I have to use a pallet? No, you can do boxes. This is on TikTok seller, not Amazon. I got you, Patel. Yeah, then that's a different answer. This whole time I thought you were talking about Amazon, bro. Do you also sell that product on Amazon? I'm curious. Appreciate being down to earth. You got to follow. Hey, I appreciate it, Peptides. God bless, my friend. Appreciate everybody in the live, everybody who follows. TikTok only gives 2 claims, and I asked other sellers selling the exact same product. They also had similar issues. Then I would still try to dispute it. There's other channels that you can take to dispute things on TikTok, like create cases and stuff. Are there a lot of Chinese brands dominating FBA? It seems like a lot of competition is Chinese. You can tell. Yeah, like 50% of the sellers on Amazon and listings are Chinese, I would guess. How late am I? We've been only on live for 10 minutes, Airstick. So you're here in time. No, there's so many sellers doing great. What's the average reviews in the market net? Prince of Egypt. No, I'm the king of Egypt, son. Even though if I go to Egypt, they'll think I'm American. And if I'm here, nobody will think that I was American, so it's like a weird thing. Had to negotiate with suppliers. You want to contact like 10 to 20, and then from there, you're going to take the lowest quote that you got and leverage it with other manufacturers. Make sure that you say that the quality is the same, or else they're going to say, oh, but our quality is better. Okay, sure. And then you're going to just pretty much be direct, say like, I need the product at this price. This is my first test run order. I plan to be a long-time customer. But in order for me to place an order, I need the numbers to work on my end. And you'd be surprised on how many people are going to be willing to work with you on that. I created parent listing, but I only mark size, but now I want to add color. How can I add? Did you create the variation through a flat file, BIP? Because if you created it through a flat file, then you would just go to the original flat file that you created, and then you would change the variation type, and then you would add the variation, and then you would upload it. I used to, but it was on my friend's deleted account. I stopped selling it on Amazon, and as mentioned, it was one sale from FNF. Got it. Yeah, I mean, just like anything, I would just continue to create cases with TikTok support, even if it's like outside of the actual claim avenue. You can still send TikTok support messages and try to explain to them. I think TikTok support is worse than Amazon support, so it may be an uphill battle. Late night live, I'm cool with it. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had a call with the group call with my students, and then one of the new students I had a one-on-one call with. So we're doing a little late night live, but I'm here for it too. It's always good to be back in the home court at the office, in my office, doing the lives. The travel lives just don't do good, to be honest. I think people see that I'm like not home. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. Maybe it's the connection. Who knows? Oops. Like 300 average reviews max. Nice, net. But every listing that's doing good doesn't have more than 80 to 100 reviews. Nice. As long as it's not a trending product, I'd say that's great. Just some TikTok issues with TikTok seller. Hey, maybe Airstick can help as well. Also, this product has a selling price of 80 to 120, and it's pretty easy to differentiate. It's in the furniture niche. Nice, dude. Yeah, I mean, if the numbers look good, you have a strong differentiator, then go for it. They haven't given me any enforcement. They just said if this keeps happening, we will enforce it. I think that's weird that, I don't want to say the product, but I'll just say this to you in private messages, Patel, because I don't want to give an idea of what the product is. But I do think that's weird because I see some pretty large companies that are probably more similar to the company who gave you the IP complaint, who do really well on TikTok Shop. So I think it's a bit interesting. Also, the company that gave you the IP complaint I don't believe they have patents on like an exact product like that. They have their proprietary, we'll call it method, but I don't think that's related. You use GS1 UPC barcode for your Amazon brands or FNSKU or both. You use a GS1 bar or UPC to create your Amazon listing, and then you use the FNSKU on the product itself. I like this setup much better. Yeah, it seems like everybody does. Bro, make content about it and tag the seller. They'll see. Yeah, that maybe I like that idea, Airstick, but in his case, it's also a behemoth of a company who gave him that claim. So I wouldn't want to. That's like a David and Goliath story, kind of like my goalie story, and that's where I would not want to mess with Goliath. help me to launch. I got these lives, bro. You can ask any question about it. I have thousands of free videos on my TikTok going over all the steps on Amazon. I don't gatekeep any information. And also, for a more in-depth guide, there's the AMZ Masterclass. You're funny, sheep. Launch me to anyways, there's the AMZ Masterclass in the TikTok bio. That is where you'd have direct access to me, my exact A through Z steps all in one place, and things like a one-on-one call with me, all of the things that I've built out for my students. It truly is the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education. I'm interesting to join this industry, but I don't know or worry about the first steps. There's nothing to worry about, brother. There is nothing to, and I don't mean that like, oh, it's guaranteed to do good. That's not what I mean when I say there's nothing to worry about, but like, what worries you about the first steps? Like every single person before they started selling on Amazon didn't know how to sell on Amazon, but then they learned, just like anything in life. It's kind of like, I'm worried. This is a silly example, but it's like, I'm worried to go ride a bike because I don't know the first steps. Well, get on the bike and start pedaling. And you probably are going to have a few falls along the way, but then you're going to learn. And just, I'm sure everybody in here knows how to ride a bike, I would hope. If you don't, sorry. But that's essentially it. Does Amazon help me studying step to do Amazon FBA? I mean, they have like free videos and stuff, which can be helpful for sure. But I would definitely learn from use that as a resource, use all the resources available for you, but also learn from people who are like experts in the game. And not everybody who makes content about Amazon is an expert. Just throwing that out there. What's profit like now? On this account, Don, it's 40%. Still running strong with those margins. How many brand you registered with Amazon? I mean, you only need one. Don't focus on like how many brands should I register. Just you start with one brand, one product, one brand. But I operate 5 brands on Amazon at the moment. For any questions about the pricing of the AMZ Masterclass, that's where you'd want to hop on a call with the team, because Don, we have a lot of different packages now where we'll essentially cater a package that works for most people, not everybody. How many weeks to close your first sale from the start? I mean, from like not having a product launched, or once you actually have a product launched, Vincent? Not having a product launched and not knowing anything about Amazon, I'd say 3 to 6 months. I don't even like saying 6 months, because most people will be able to launch under 6 months. But like as soon as you have a product live on Amazon, you can get a sale your first day. So it really just depends. But yeah, the process of like knowing nothing, but in 2 of those months are going to be manufacturing and shipping as well. Start with FBA or FBM. I never have and never will do FBM, Andre. It's FBA all day. Is now the best time to get on Amazon before Q4, and you think I can get a product up before then? If you 10x it, yes, I do think so. But like that's if you start now. Because you have to have inventory in for Christmas. And honestly, you ideally would want to have inventory in before Black Friday. Like you would have to place an order for a product by the end of the month to be for Black Friday. You would have to launch a product. Wait, September, October. Yeah, you would want to place an order by the end of the month if you want to get in for like the best time of Q4. But don't yes, Q4 is an amazing time to launch, but there's pros and cons. Like I think too many people, and I'm not saying the person who asked this by any means, but because I don't think his comment was like that, but I think there's a lot of people who think like, When's the best month to start selling? Any month is the best month to start selling, because even if you launch in January, okay, now you have 9 months to gear up for Q4. You can establish the product. And then if you launch in Q4, great, you get the Q4 traffic, but you're also going to have increased cost per clicks. It's cost per clicks can double during Q4 because a lot of advertisers, or I wouldn't call them advertisers, a lot of brands save a majority of their budget for Q4. I plan to build my first brand strictly around one product. Can I really scale off the product if I do it right? Yes, you can. Is it deserves to quit my job full time that I have now? No, brother, don't quit your day job over it. Because you're not gonna, don't expect to make money like that. There's the potential to make profit right away, but don't expect to take that profit for 1 year after starting your business. So you definitely want a job. There's a lot of waiting when it comes to Amazon. It's not a full-time thing. Like I don't spend 40 hours. I don't even spend close to 40 hours a week working on my Amazon businesses. Luke, as you know, I'm working on CVR, but I have 160 units left. How much you recommend to reorder as Q4 is on the way? For you, bro, I don't recommend a reorder right now. You have to make sure, you have to get the proof of concept. You don't have proof of concept to support putting more into the product yet on that side. I'm gonna ask, I saw a video of e-commerce saying that. Yeah, him and I see a lot of things very similarly, and I respect a lot of his takes for sure, 110%. We also see things a little differently. Like, and honestly, the different takes are like same, but different. So it's not a negative thing by any means, because most of the things are in line. But like I saw a video where it was saying that like Amazon is saturated. And like I get what he's saying, so I guess I'm reading between the lines, but I don't believe Amazon is saturated. But I believe a lot of people do Amazon because anything worth, and this is where we agree, because he's like, anything worth doing, there's going to be a lot of people who do it. It's like saying real estate is saturated. Like, yes, there's a lot of people who do real estate, but that doesn't mean that there's no barrier to entry, or that there's too high of a barrier to entry for somebody to go in and get into real estate. So again, same, but different. And that's not like that's actually me saying something positive. So I hope nobody takes it in the wrong way. Do you private label or white label? They're the same thing, Don. F90, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Okay, so just reorder when my CVR improves, but what if it hasn't improved by the end of my stock? Then you got your proof of concept that it maybe wasn't the product. You know what I mean? You don't want to continue to feed money into a product that's not going to work. Now, if you start to see by the end of your stock like improvements and you're like, oh yeah, I can definitely get this to where I want it, then that's different. But like if you're like, no, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. And Sheep, I think you're one of the few people who's actually trying to do as much as you can to get it to work. So cost of goods before shipping, $553, listing price $34.99. Need to line up a forwarder now. Need Luke's forwarder. Yeah, bro, the AMZ Masterclass freight forwarder is the best. I actually just had a guy on TikTok message me. I don't usually do this, but because he left a comment, he's like, bro, if you can actually get the cost or the shipping rates that you say, I'll pay whatever for the AMZ Masterclass. And so he messaged me on TikTok, and I asked him, like, do you already have a shipment created on Amazon, and do you have your carton dimensions? He was like, yes. He sent it to me. He sent me what the product was. He said, I get each item for about $120 per kilogram in the United States. So I said, what FBA warehouse would need that for a quote? But I'm 90% sure we can beat those quotes. So he sent me one of the quotes. Went to my freight forwarder. I asked them, and so his average cost per kilogram that he was getting was 120, and the quote that I got was 55 cents per kilogram. So pretty big difference. I shattered Amazon wholesale. What does that mean? Shub. Is there another problem when Amazon asks you for tax info after you got approved? They might just need to re-verify some stuff, Nancy. Lost, what up? Thank you for sharing the live, my boy. I just got my address approved, but the mailbox is small. What do you suggest? Well, are you going to be getting product shipped there, or are you talking about like for your returns, Joey? Tell about pricing when you launch your price, list price, sales price. I'll usually launch. I used to launch at the price that I wanted, but I have been testing launching at like a slightly lower price, like 5 to 10%. Okay, so I'm kind of like in endgame, it's all or nothing. Yes, but remember, like if you start to see, even if your conversion by the end isn't where you want it to, but you're seeing like, okay, I'm increasing, I'm doing better, my organic rank is increasing. Like I think that's positive proof of concept. I don't do wholesale, Shub. I do private label. Sending text as well. That's the only comment that I see from you, Ibad. If you asked something else, it might have gotten muted by TikTok. I got UPS address to separate my home from my seller account. Yeah, but what does the mailbox being small have to do with anything? Like, are you just going to get returns sent there, or because I know people who use virtual addresses, and that's not an issue. Roxana, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. There's also services out there, like when you create an LLC, that'll give you an address. And then they also have like shipping services where anything that's shipped there, they'll ship back to you. So those are also helpful as well. But the mailbox being small shouldn't really be an issue, to be honest with you. And you should also ask, because I haven't used like UPS for something like that, but you should also ask what happens if I get a larger product. Will you guys still store it or ship it? Because I know that like I don't have a mailbox, for example, that'll fit like a furniture product, but there's still ways for it to get shipped back to you if you're referring to returns. Outside of that, you're not really going to need a big mailbox. Also, while we wait for some more questions, how much investment do I need to start private label? Also, if you guys are like, what comment is he reading from? I'm reading YT comments as well. Hold on. Private label is good or wholesale for beginners. I like private label, to be honest. TikTok be cramping my style, man. There are a lot of fake ideas on your name and details. Make a video about it. Maybe someone is trying. I've made a lot of videos about it. That's why my bio says I don't message you first, Ibad. Okay, got it. By the way, how do you recommend I do the optimizations as much as possible at one time, or like first try main image, then infographics gradually? If there's things that you know you need to optimize, then optimize those things. But when you're doing like split tests, like does this main image perform better or does this main image perform better? That's where you would want to isolate what you're testing to see what's making an improvement or what's not making an improvement. 3K is the minimum that I say for private label. As a new seller, can I send multiple items to Amazon's warehouse, like one each, 5 out of 200? Yes, but you should only start with one product. You shouldn't start with 5 products. That's a mistake that people make when launching, trying to like expand their reach too much. So I don't necessarily ever recommend that. Not the move. TikTok put me on timeout. So the people in the live are the ones who are just going to be in the live. They're not. I always get put on timeout for no reason. Is it time consuming to find the first product? For some people, for others, not. It really depends on the person and how well you do product research. Product research is it's like hitting a baseball. Like the more you do it, the better that you get at it. So you might not fully grasp how to do it right away, but I do have a lot of videos on both TikTok and YT on how to do this, how to analyze products, how to find products, multiple methods on how to find products, timeout. Yeah, it's something that's been happening, bro. They say that I'm directing traffic outside of TikTok, which I literally never do. And then when I get put on timeout, my live isn't eligible for the For You page. So I appealed it. We'll see if I win the appeal. It really doesn't make any sense. I didn't understand when you said FNSQ on the product and GS1 on the box. Nope, that's not what I said, YSR. I said you create your listing with a GS1 code and then you use an FNSKU. Hey, appeal approved. Thank you, TikTok. Stop saying. That's what the live's about. I mean, I just won the appeal, so thank you, TikTok. But yeah, I guess say AMZ. I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, you use the GS1 code to create your listing, and when you create the listing, there in the manage inventory section, there would be an option to print item label, and then you would do that, and you would get your FNSKU, and that goes on your product packaging, not on the product. I think it's every time you mention. I'm not even gonna say it. Yeah, honestly, maybe. I don't know. I have to figure out what it is because it literally happened last week. It happened the week before that. I mean, I'm grateful that it's not that it's only like they restrict the live and that they don't kick me off live. That happened to me one time and I couldn't go on live for 7 days. That was not fun. So is GA, what do you mean, Panagodius? Is GO only if you're not brand registered? No, you still need a product ID to create a product listing. But that, unless you get a GTIN exemption. I have videos on TikTok about that too. My freight forwarder needs specific address so they can give me a quote. What should I give as an address? Create a mock shipment. Just go through the process of creating a shipment and then you'll be able to get an idea of the 5 warehouses if you go with that option on where to send the products. Which category is it better to start private label? I think it's easier to say what categories I wouldn't launch in: clothing, shoes, electronics, fragile items, and supplements, topicals, consumables. Those were the ones that I would avoid. Everything else for me is fair game. I don't agree with that, Sheep. I've never had a huge problem And I've never seen somebody have a huge problem with GS1 codes. GTIN exemption is cool, but I've also seen issues with GTIN exemptions where this can create problems later down the line. So I always do GS1 codes. It's I prefer it. I teach how to get a GTIN exemption as well, but like I said, I prefer the GS1 route. But that's just my personal opinion. Every seller is going to do it differently and maybe have a different view and perspective on it as well. Alex always with the emojis. I love it. Let's go. Make sure y'all are dropping your questions down below. Also, let's hit the let's share the live, y'all. Hit the share button. No, you don't get recycled. That's the thing about getting it on an official GS1 platform is you don't get recycled GS1 codes. So no, that happens if you're getting them from like I remember I used to be able to get like UPCs on like eBay, and that was an issue with that. But on with GS1, no, that's not really an issue, to be honest. How do you avoid problems with labels? What kind of problems? Hey, let's go, Alex. Thank you for sharing the live. Yes, sir. Everybody hit the share button. If you click copy link, counts as a share to the algorithm. You don't actually have to send it to anybody, but let's get it popping after I just got off timeout from TikTok. Can you add a new GS1 to an FNSKU? What do you mean add a new GS1? Like from an existing product? No, the product ID is one of the few things that you can't change. So should I tell my supplier to keep box blank for barcode? I mean, you don't want to put the barcode on yourself, but you can either have them printed on. You just want to make sure that it's scannable, or you can have them just put the sticker on yourself. Does it affect your listing negatively if you apply for a GTIN exemption and it was approved? No, but again, and I know you're just saying it based on a video sheet, but like I said, I've also seen problems where when people get a GTIN exemption, it creates issues with the brand later down the road. So I've personally seen more issues from a GTIN exemption arise rather than a GS1. So that's just my take on it the last 6 years. Yeah, but should I have them print the FNSKU barcode or no? Like I said, it's the FNSKU, bro. You use the GS1 to create your listing. You don't put, Amazon doesn't want any other, EMZ doesn't want any other barcode on the product itself. Just the Amazon one that they scan, because when you're doing FBA, that's how they scan your product. It has to be in their system. They don't base it on anybody else's system, only their system. So you recommend using UPC and not apply for a G exemption? Either one works. I'm not trying to like fear monger. Not really sheep, to be honest with you. I don't think it's like I don't think it's that big. Sorry, but nah, brother, I'm not monetized yet. Not yet. What people are going to really focus on when it comes down to an exit is your brand value, your profit or your EBITDA, and the products that you have. and perceived brand value. Like if you have a strong brand, then that's also going to help you as well. That's really what's going to determine an exit. Like your numbers are going to be the biggest factor into that. Let's get it. Also, while we wait for questions on the TikTok, some gem videos. Last video, a cool little story / little flex showing y'all the hotel in Vegas. I literally just got back today, but showing the hotel in Vegas and a really cool story from when I first started selling on Amazon to now. Second to last video, how to optimize your product listing on Amazon. Third, only 2 types of people who say you can't sell on Amazon or make money. And then fourth to last, best way to get reviews completely TOS compliant. How many brands do you have in your AMZ seller account? 1 brand per account, but I operate 5 brands on separate accounts allegedly. Okay, I thought that already having a one could make it easier, for example, to get into retail. Yes, that is true. So if you plan to go the retail side, that is correct. Don't I have to create a listing before getting an FNSKU code? Yes, that's what I was saying, YSR. GS1, create the listing created, get the FNSKU. I have videos on my TikTok on how to do this as well, bro. Let's get it. Ever since I got put on timeout, the live was slower. I don't like that. If you were just starting out, how would you start? Exactly. It's not like a get rich quick thing, guys. Like everything that I talk about, and I know this is an honest question, Vincent. Everything that I say is exactly what I would do. It's not like, because like I said, you guys see the 0 to 1 mil series, taking a brand new account from 0 to 1 mil, documenting every step of the journey. Everything that I talk about in my videos is exactly what I would do. So it's not like, hey guys, do this, but I'm going to do this. And you do this, but I'm going to do this. It's like, hey guys, do this, and this is exactly what I do. Does Amazon seller provide the GS1, or do you get it through another service? Another service. I can't say it on here, I don't think, to be honest with you, but okay, nice. By the way, are your supplements in retail stores? Some of them, yes. That's a very, very small percentage. That's not like at scale. I'm not like in, not like Target or Walmart, but much smaller locations for sure. Have your listing ever been hijacked? If so, how? Yes, they have. How? I don't know. Even to this day, I don't fully comprehend how Amazon even allows that. I know how they do it. They hop on my listing by essentially saying that I'm selling this product, blah, 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 blah. But how do you get them off? Brand registry. How do you do that? Did you have to pitch it yourself to store owner or just email? I always did it in person, Sheep. Wealth, you'll always have to get ungated, number 1. Number 2, I do private labels, so I don't have to get the products that I launch ungated. I'm creating my own brands, not relisting existing brands. One of the many perks of doing private label, if I do say so myself. What does ungated mean? It's like if you wanted to go launch Adidas products, you can't just go and list them. You have to verify to Amazon that you're not launching counterfeit products. You do this by submitting an official invoice. It used to be 10 units or more, but I know they've changed it for certain brands. Like I heard somebody talking about like it was probably like some brands were like 100 units or something, but you just have to show that you're getting it from an official wholesaler or distributor. Not gonna lie, bro, props to you for that, as you are an introvert. Yeah, man. I mean, the thing with business and just life is you have to get comfortable doing uncomfortable things. If I just did things that were within my comfort zone, I don't think that I'd be in the position that I am today. So yeah, you have to learn to do these things. I mean, even like public speaking, I've done a few things with public speaking, and I can go on the lives, to y'all. I can do the calls with my students, but like put me in a room with like, I would say 20 is where I start to be like, oh, put me in a room with 20 people, and like I won't. It's like a little bit more difficult for me. Batman, any questions about the AMZ Masterclass? My team would be able to answer because, like I said, we have different packages, so you guys can apply in check out the AMZ Masterclass in the TikTok bio. Yes, it's 10, 100, 200, 300, and 4, 10, and 500 quantities. Yeah, that's wild. 500 quantity, even 300 is wild. 10, I think, is reasonable, but they're making it harder for arbitrage and wholesale sellers, from my understanding. I honestly think, hot take, I could be wrong, but I think in 5 years, those business models are really going to be for the pros. You don't have to get brand registry first. Technically, you need to create the listing first in order to get brand registered, because you have to show that the product is in use, or else you would be filing with intent to use, and that costs more than just having a listing active, or at least an inactive out of stock, and being able to use that for brand registry. Y'all make sure we're coming to the end of the live, so make sure y'all are asking your questions down below. First live back from my little staycation. Always a good live when I'm back home, but we've been given an hour of straight value, so this is my shameless plug part. To check out the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education, TikTok bio. Here, you guys can see everything that's included. Hey, nice. Enjoy your vacation, bro. Everything that's included in the AMZ Masterclass. If you did want to become a student, yes, I want to apply. You would go through this very quick, it's like 60-second questionnaire. Actually fill it out proper so that the team can help create a unique plan for your unique situation. I'm going to hide this part so I don't dox my phone number and email. And if you qualify, because not everybody qualifies, you'd be prompted to this page here, where you're going to be able to select a day and time, hop on a call with my guy, Adam. And Adam is our onboarding specialist. It's a very laid back talk. Adam is also a student in the AMZ Masterclass. He also sells products on Amazon, so he has a lot of context for any questions that people have. Show up to that call. You'll be able to find out any information about, again, the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education. On that note, everybody, I hope you have a blessed day, or blessed rest of your night, I should say, and I will see y'all, God willing, tomorrow.